stuff.
Released.
No. I only brought stuff that would be okay if it would rain into it. Because, so I put together like a tiny version of what I use, this system. And I have Pro Tools, and I work in Reason, I work in Superior Drummer. I have all the Reaper and blah blah, all that stuff in my big main computer, which is online. Where I probably answer you and so on. But when it comes to the actual composing, I am offline all the time. This computer has never seen the internet. It doesn't know what it is. If you would connect it, it would blow up. And that is really good. So I always return to this system. It's called Paris. It died a painful death because of Didi Design, that later became Avid, early 2000. This is the latest update, and it's from 2001. Paris Pro. And why do I use this? Because I get shit down, and it sounds insanely good. They made a wonderful card called, do you know it? The Paris system? Or
I remember it.
Yeah. Because people think I joke. Yeah, when they see like photo or video from my cave, man cave.
There is stuff from the early 2000s, like the 16-bit plugins that even 32-bit stuff doesn't even work anymore on half of the systems out there. That was so phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like it was just so simple and it did everything so well.
Yes.
Remember Antares, before they had auto-tune,
Yeah.
they had a mic modeling plugin.
Okay.
Where you put in whatever type of mic you're using, you put this thing on it, and whatever type of mic you want it to sound like, and it fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
And it sounded, yeah, it was fantastic. And this was back then when there wasn't a damn thing.
No.
And there was a lot of good stuff.
There was a lot of good stuff. And for me, this is a tape recorder. That's what it is. It's a tape recorder, and the separation is so much better than my Pro Tools system. If I work in Reason, does anyone know Propeller Heads? Reason is a Swedish company. Lots of and a million things. When I first bought it, I turned it on and up, and I turned it off right away. There were so many racks and so many filters, and I thought, and then I got mad. I said, well, fuck you, 19-year-old snot boy. I will learn this as well. You should not. So I spent like a year just, learning it and how to tweak and where do I turn the rack around, the tab. Okay, it took about half a year to where my drag cables, and then I thought it was really, really good. And as I said the other day, I used to be super duper primitive. I plug into my Laney, everything else is shit, every chorus, delay, blah, 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 whatever. Now I can really, since I have such a palette of many, many sounds, this can really trigger a creative spark. So I completely changed. And with the Helix, this is a universe of its own, yeah. And the best thing about the Helix, and also stuff like Reason and Superior Drummer and whatnot, is that it works. It used to sound like shit, like a Line 6 pod and everything. I mean,
2.0.
Yeah, it was good to play with, it felt really good, but then you recorded it and so, but now it is good. And I regret saying a lot of things, like MIDI is the work of Satan and so on. It's not true. MIDI is great. No, everything should be analog. Not true. There's a Russian guy called Dmitry. Anyone remember the confused Russian guy? Yeah. He told me when I was in my worst analog mode and so on, I said, these digital devices and plugins, they're not like second-grade citizens or anything. This works. It should be mic in front of cab and so on. Of course, I was completely wrong. And I told him, well, you opened this door, you confused this Russian, and it's really true, So I get behind the MIDI kit because I cannot possibly do Abbey Road sound at home. So I bash unsexy plastic devices. And then I go, I'll go some Bob Rock, or no, I'll do Eddie Kramer today. And
I disagree.
Okay.
I think that you can get Abbey Road quality.
True. But you do good drum sound. You know how to do it. I have lots of mics and it always turns into shit. And I always have to do tweaking and everything. That's true.
Well, you always have to do tweaking.
Yeah. But lots and lots. And for me, I want result. So therefore, it's much easier. I used to mic the drums and everything, and you're really good with this and so on. That's why I wanted you here as well, to beg to differ. Because we all do it differently, and it's just being creative. And you want result. I want result. So I usually start, big fat head, have an idea. It could be a song title. What did we say? I left my penis in Paris. Whatever. And then, or you have a rhyme, or you have a riff, or you have whatever. And then I usually create just a few beats and so on. And the stuff I can't do, as you know, I do with on keyboard, even with the drums, if it's sticky patterns. I would have to spend 2 months just learning that. So fuck that, I'll do and I do on the keyboard. Fine, so what, you know? So what? And then it sounds really kick-ass. And because I can't possibly call Björn or Yogev and say, can you spend 2 months rehearsing this? And then then I lost interest. I want now. Because I hate updates. I hate all these plugins that, why doesn't it work? I just had an idea. I want to manifest it. That's why offline is the key. For me, probably not you. But for me, I want to sit with my guitar and play without anything popping out. Hey, want to go to movies? Or so I never have the sound on my phone, and I'm never on the internet when I work with music.
Yeah, I didn't have internet at my studio for the longest time, but then I had to because for a lot of the plugins and a lot of the things, you need to be logged on for it to recognize. You know, you need to log in.
Yeah, that's I do that for Reason and Superior Drum and all that stuff. And then I sort of fixed the song. And the cool thing is that when you bounce it out of Superior Drummer or Reason or whatever software you are, and you drag it into Paris, the magic happens. Paris turns it into gold. The separation is astounding. It sounds okay in Superior Drummer. It sounds okay in Reason. It sounds okay in Reap or whatever. In Paris, whoa.
So why do you think that is?
It is the ADDA converter thing that they did, that DigiDesign killed because it was too good. So I'm treasure hunting the EDS 1000 cards. As soon as I find one or whatever, I am a, what's that called in Sweden? Fodervärd. If you have a dog, you're loaning a dog. You give it food, but it's not really yours. There's stuff like that. Police dogs, for instance. You pet it and you take care of it, but it's not yours. I am that for Paris cards. Paris uses so that you can keep them, but you can't buy them. If you need them, you can use them. If we need them, we want them back. So we are a bunch of Paris users. We share parts like the volume control of the headphones. Can I buy it? No, but you can keep it and maybe I want it back. Yeah, but so it's really that. We are like, and I have a Canadian hacker because every time the Paris system breaks down and so on, he has to hack because the update is a CD-ROM. And you have to have a challenge, and then you have to have a response by Ensoniq. And they don't reply to those emails from 2001 because the company doesn't exist. So he has to hack the system every time.
Can I just give you a copy of Cubase?
I have Cubase, I have, and the wife has, Logic or whatever, So
what it boils down to is whatever you're comfortable with, you're going to go the farthest with.
Exactly. And also, I feel now that what I sort of, the stuff I produce or record or whatever, when I listen to it now and I compare it to whatever super duper production, I say, well, sounds kick-ass. Mine sounds kick-ass. Why would I ask for anything more? Because it all boils down, and lots of people listen to it even from phones and Spotify, and it's heartbreaking at times to, and so on. So I learn a lot, and I'm super happy with it. So therefore, I will not stop using Paris until the very last system is dead. So so I have like a skyscraper of these interfaces and all kinds of things. There's a certain charm to it because I'm super fast. I don't want to sit with the mouse all the time. I have this Control 16 here, which is a device so I can just go
like a fader
back.
chord.
Yeah, really. And you have one chord and it's 16 channels, and then you have to have another chord, which is another 16 channels, and you have to connect them, and then you have to have another chord, and then you have to cross connect them. It's a nightmare. I always forget for every time something breaks down. I have to get a new computer and so on, and downgrade it to XP. This is all XP. XP
was the best thing they ever made.
Yes, because it works.
True.
Yeah.
It's just no bullshit. It doesn't do anything for you that you don't want it to do.
No.
It just...
Especially when you're offline.
Yeah.
Always offline.
You're about to do something and it decides to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the system. You have this, and it doesn't matter. You can do any system. I just want to break down a song, and I opened the rule of 13. I have no clue what I did. I just go bananas, and I say for instance, that, oh, we need something more here. Distort it to hell. Distortion is the solution to most things. You know? So let me just see what happens. Take a seat and we'll... no. So this is editor number 1, and we have something called a super lovely. First of all, you have this, something I edited together. I stole this from a YouTube video, and then I just clicked it up in 13/16, so this goes throughout the song. Yes. So you can just listen to this for 30 minutes. So that's the video playback. And then I have this because I wanted like a drone for A. This is underneath this, you know. Oh, sorry, of course it's crashing. So you have this?
Mattias,
Yes?
is there no grid?
Sorry? That's one of the cards, don't worry about it, it's not in the music.
No, I mean the grid for...
No grid, no grid. Nothing is gridded, everything is...
Grid.
No, if I'm in reason, it's, you know, MIDI and so on, but Paris, no grid.
Wow.
So here's the... So I'm connecting here, thing going. So this is me. Then you have a brassy lead. Yeah, exactly. That's just the F, which is longer. It's the AM o'clock thing, you know. So it's the. Okay. And then I wanted the melody because it was a little bit claustrophobic, so I just played that on piano with the brilliant swell, is what it's called. And then you just very big. Yeah. So super annoying, exactly. And then you have this, just the drone, the ball, and then you have Fang Fu, which is in here, and this is a completely different sound. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Dubbing the guitar, distortion. Justus?
How do you move those tracks around if you don't have the grid?
Like this. Do 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 do. You know, of course, when I bounce it from the other software, it's in the right place. And if I want to move something, it's this little blue thing. You will never use it. But if you have the red thing, you cannot move it in this direction, but you can do it like this. So of course, it's in the right spot. You know, I don't go. I don't like taking chances. So this all together. Of course, you have the drums on the different submix. You can mute these. So basically, and you see, I took some things away. Is the bass? Let's mute that one. So, yeah, those are good. I played this one on easy bass. I love it. It's very low. Super good. I played with my keyboard. It sounds really good, and it works really well with the 8-string and the 9-string guitar. Riffy. It sounds like what's this? I don't even know what it is. So there are many things. This is a Helix. What's this one? I don't know. It's one of the favorite. Yeah, it works so well. Yeah.
Mattias, with the drum tracks there, so it's in stereo drums there electronically. What's the other? Is that another percussion layer?
What was that?
For the drums?
Yeah.
The drums?
Yeah.
So I understand, you know, you're tracking with MIDI, but there's 4 percussion tracks there, so
Yeah, no, so you kick, snare, hi-hat, blah, blah, blah.
On a separate mix.
Yeah, absolutely. I tweak all the drums in Superior Drummer because that's the best way to add compression and tape.
Oh, so once snare, once kick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So another beautiful thing about working in Paris is that you have to make decisions. Okay, the kick is not low enough, so I stack it. Oh, sorry, never mind the extra sound. So I put a hip hop kick underneath, stack it, you know, and so on. And this is not my favorite drum kit at all that I use for the camp kits. It's really not, but it's very efficient if you want to say something. Whereas kintsugi is super ambient, but that's hard when it has to be precise. Okay. So that's just how I do it. Here we have Kong, the Kong kit, the Kong drum machine. It's super good to overdub stuff with. Let's see.
That Kong?
This is the 808 Kong, Kong, King Kong. Yeah, I don't know what this is. I have no clue. Guitar as well. The Helix really works if you want to add things like I don't know where this is. Yeah. You didn't even hear that one, that's over the piano part. So this is one submix, I muted everything else. So this is our 16-inch channels. So we can see what's going on here. This is your favorite part of the camp. This don't get lost. So there yeah, more oboe and stuff like that. Egyptian Mini, this is good. This is for your favorite chords. Oh, this one. And it has this built in. It's super good. And more fun food, maybe. This is great. It has this tail. So, in a lonely place is this sound called. I like that very much. LA clean piano. I call it fix because I distorted it to hell, I think. I think this is the distortion is the key to a lot of things. So I have no clue what I'm doing. Is this mod track? So I do things and I tried some. Now it didn't really work, or this will be okay. I need more here, and then I go into Reason and I look and I look and I look and I listen. And sound. This sounds good. Now what is this? Mod track. Nice. Super nice. Keyboards are lovely with texture. You know, keep them nice and low and
Peanut soup lead. Is that what it's called?
So, brilliant swell. I don't know what this is. Let's see. Yes, more piano, I guess. Just a piano. And you probably say to yourself, what is this doing together? So it's. Okay, let's have a look at the guitars. What are they doing? Well, you've already heard the guitars, but it's got more lead stuff. What is this? More Helix. Oh yeah. And then I thought, well, just this is not enough because, of course, it's guitar music, but I also wanted to make it bigger, so I have the singing wheel.
So a key to interesting guitar sound sometimes is not even the guitar, it's the things that are supporting it underneath, doubling it up.
Yeah.
And
especially when you have written lines like we have with this, which is really integrated with the conical. Then you really need to again, the singing wheel itself for me is, because it's cheap 80s kind of thing, you know. So
and also you can listen to a sound by itself, it sounds one way, but once it's all come together with a bunch of other things, it becomes its own thing.
Yeah, and nowadays keyboards they work really well. Electronic stuff. It's the same with the Line 6 and everything. It used to be, it sounds great, and you would put it in the music, and you'd have to cut all the frequencies out, and you had to. It didn't have a place. It's impossible. I would have to distort it, make it mono, put it 1:15 o'clock to make it. It would just take over everything. Not anymore. It's super, very heavily.
Also, to make things stick out is you want to have everything have its place in the bandwidth.
Yeah.
Where
Absolutely.
a lot of keyboards, they're just the whole 20 to
Exactly,
20,000.
exactly.
So you have to really high pass, low pass things
Yeah.
and just give them their spot. You may even want to take like a very tight EQ spot in the mids and just make it a little pointy where there's a certain frequency that just sticks out. Whether it's 800 or 1400, it's going to be kind of more cave-like or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's so much work. Yes. A question.
The question about equalizing. Some channels on YouTube advocate that you should actually tailor each and every EQ for other instruments.
Yeah, they could fuck off.
Yeah, good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Word of advice from two cavemen: never ever go on YouTube to watch how to record. Yeah, I know. I have never done it.
So
you
well, here's the thing. Like you can do that, but whatever you hear by itself, everything around it that when it's part of the mix is completely different. Whatever that high end is, the cymbals or whatever is in the high end is going to compete with it. It's going to blend with it. It's going to change it, and it's going to change how much it sticks out or doesn't. So it helps the most to adjust things as you're hearing it in the mix where it's going to be. And then maybe solo it and just see if you're doing something fun with it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, just always have the end result in mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, think of how you want the song to sound or whatever it is, how you want it to sound. Think of that when you're recording. Think of that when you're mixing. Think of that when you're mastering. Every process, always be thinking of how you want it to sound in the end.
Yeah, do you use dynamic EQs? So it lowers.
Wonderful, yes. Multi-band stuff, dynamic EQs are everything. That is what allows you to really shape the stuff and fix the issues. Absolutely, yes. Especially multi-band compression. The most important thing that is not used enough, but it's especially with drums, multi-band transient shapers or envelope shapers.
Yes.
When you listen to a drum kit, a live, normal human being drum kit, and the snare, by the time you have music piled onto it, you've done everything, the snare isn't cracking through anymore, it just sounds like, and the low tom is going, yeah, you can fix all of that. Because what you're doing is you're taking the sound and you're taking each part of the bandwidth. Low end, low mids, highs, you're just exactly where those crossover points are. And you can make the pointiness, I'm just going to use random words here, the pointiness of it, and you can say, all right, let me make the EQ of it a little more in the high mids right here, because that's where it's getting lost. If you do it in the low mids, it might sound too much like smacking a pencil on cardboard, like that kind of sound. And you want it to have a little more life to it. But when you try and EQ it in that area, it's bringing out all this bleed and it's fucking off the overall sound of the drums. But you're just grabbing the peak and you're just EQing the peak and making that jump out and making that bright. So that's what you can do with multi-band transient shaping. You have all this low-end mud that's happening on the drum. You go to the low mid, lows, you take the release time that's happening in it, you shorten it, and suddenly it's going from boom to just boom. And you can make all your drums match from the kind of crack that they have to the amount of resonance they have. Also, don't be shy about using multi-band distortion to fatten up and saturate different aspects of things. You'd be amazed what you can do with guitar sounds, with bass sounds, with drum sounds, with vocal sounds by doing that. It just is fantastic. There is so much you can do with that shit now. We are living in a good era for recording.
Yeah,
yes.
very much. No, sorry.
When you use processors like EQs and compressors, do you have an own preference on where do you use, for example, SSL or API? And like, do you use like API for more for drums and kind of how hard do you compress it?
Well, that boils down to the most important piece of gear.
The
Oh.
gear.
Yes.
Yes.
That's like all that stuff, whether you're using, all right, I'm going to use a Neve clone, or I'm going to use SSL, or I'm going to use this, or whatever the hell it is. You're just using your ears to make those decisions. You listen to it, you know the sound just from using the stuff enough, the different plugins, and say, you know what, let me try this one on there. I think that would work. And you just use your judgment, which comes from trial and error and experience.
So you probably, first you listen and you might use, let's say, even if you have the same drums, you might use a different compressor depending on the song, for example.
If you're doing a whole album and everything was recorded in the same place with the same people and everything is
Yeah.
consistent, then you might be able to do one song and almost create a template for what you're using that can be applied to everything. And you just do tweaks as needed for those songs, because you don't want to have inconsistency where every mix sounds completely different. You try and master it and there's no cohesive identity to the sound. You want whatever you're working on to have an identity where you could hear 2 seconds of it, you know who it is. That can happen, that's when it's like amazing shit. Yes.
Yeah, talking about the ears, because I know that you both are very experienced, and Ian knows his room and his gear and everything, and so he has probably a spot where he sits and he knows what's happening. I presume you do the same. But when you're starting out and you want to understand, like, okay, I'm gonna mix and so on, there's so many variables that maybe you are tweaking, like, oh, this has too much bass, I'm gonna tweak it out, even just to come up with guitar sound.
Yeah.
It's like, and then it turns out that when you go to another place, it's like thin as hell, because in your room there was this boominess that was building up from nowhere. So where do you start to
Your car.
educate?
Car, yes.
Your car.
Car is good.
The car test.
CDR in the car.
Or these days, even if it's just Bluetoothing, whatever you have, just listen in your car.
Yeah.
And you get a good sense of things.
Okay.
Always. That's the issue, is you have to know you gotta know how your room compares to the rest of the world also. So what you want to do is you want to have a lot of recordings that you like the sound of, and as you're working on something, put it on. Say, all right, am I on the right track, or am I just getting too close to this and hearing what I want it to sound like and not what it actually sounds like?
But referencing is already quite hard, because usually the things you like you are working on sound, so it's not even mixed. You're in the process, but you're listening to a highly, very mixed,
Right.
very mastered thing
Yeah.
that obviously sounds great anyway. And, so even just the referencing is
Go for the best reference, even still, aim high. It may not happen in the recording part until it's mixed and then mastered, but even still, as you're recording, the guitar sound that you're trying to get, or whatever the sound is that you're trying to get, compare it to something that you really think sounds good, or I should even say, something that sounds the way you want that particular thing that you're working on to sound like. So
I think,
if-
for me, so many questions. I'm a complete anarchist. As with guitars, I know more than I say I do, obviously, and I get better at what I do. Just 10 years from now, I know a lot more. But when it comes to video, for instance, I have amazing video friends and photographers, and they say to me, you cannot do that. You cannot film in this light, even if it's a dead trapped in Kathmandu, and I'll tweak it. No, it's too much for YouTube. Who gives a shit? The contrast. And I'm the same with music. I create music, and it's not fixed in the mix. I do not. I know what I want, and I know very little when people speak about frequencies. Our Chris in Free Kitchen, he's wonderful. He has heard something that people say at soundcheck. He doesn't know what it is, but he says it every night. Yeah. Oh, so if you take your phone case, sometimes and some pre-delay. He has no clue what a pre-delay is. I do. And I remember Steve Y, you know, they're wonderful. He said a million things, shit PA, and he just said, then take this, and he was on stage, how could he possibly hear the PA? I said, do this, just because he could say it. Be fearless, create music, even if it's on your phone. And of course Ron is right, and I'm wrong when he says don't listen to YouTube, but it can be overwhelming with all the knowledge, because it's about writing music. And if you say, I would like to manifest my music, but everybody says I need this, 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 and this, and before you find out how a compressor works, the momentum is lost, and you do something else, badminton, whatever, you know. So and that is really important. That's what I do. I said, well, fuck this. It doesn't matter if everything is red, you know. It sounds good to me. And because there's a lot of people, especially I'd say on YouTube, who thinks a lot. But the music, sure think a lot, but the music is shit. You need this and trying all these tests and everything. It doesn't matter. You can make a theme album on your ukulele. That's the best thing ever, recorded with your pubic hair, if you have a microphone attached to it. It doesn't matter. Of course you want to get better, and you will. But create music. Pubic, yeah. Dennis has a question.
Yeah. Do you have a certain work process? Because there's, when you start a song, there's verses and choruses, intros, outros, bridges. Then secondly, you have all the instruments or all the melody parts you want to do. And then you just said, I stack sounds because it makes it sound better. So that's three types of layers you're working on. Is there a certain way you go about your work, or is it as it comes?
I trust my gut feeling. I think you do as well. This is good. Yeah, I trust yours. But the thing is, I start out small with how should I say, a blueprint. Song. This is where I want to go, and so on. And then use mic. I use mic.
I call it a foundation to keep building on it.
Exactly. So for a song like The Rule of 13, which is a hopeless composition, you don't do that from start, to finish. You dress it up. What does it need? It needs something here. I need to back up. I need air. I need ambient sound. I need to make it tight. I need to make it claustrophobic. I know how to do these things. I can't really say it from a technical point of view that, I took that out. I'm an anarchist when it comes to EQ as well. I just go, drag it around. So this is good. Juicy mids. That's what I like. No, I don't care. It's not like I don't write it in. I just, where is it? There it is. There it is. That's the snare. So I don't know anything. I could never be in a EQ symposium workshop spa weekend and talk. They would throw me out, as I would be thrown out in any cover.
EQ-Con 2024. What do you think of that minute?
EQ-Con. That's the thing. So again, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. There are no excuses today, as Ron said. This is a great time. You can make it on perfectly sounding album on your iPad or iPhone if you like.
And as far as the process, again, it's always goes back to the final result, and anything that gets you there can happen in any order. I always I compare everything to baking a cake. It's like, in the end, it's going to be a cake, but what gets you there is like, all right, you might put the eggs in the bowl first and then the flour, or you might put in the milk and then the eggs, whatever it is, but all the elements are there in the end, and any of them could be the starting point. It might be, there was something I used to do, and I used to torture my production students. I would there's nothing I can throw here, but I used to take a can and I would throw it at the wall.
Okay, now
this is vintage.
XP mousepad.
Prince of Persia, Doom, Atari 2600.
Yeah, I'm a
good
Doom
shit.
guy. I'm a Doom.
Doom was great.
Okay, we're slippery.
I would take a can and just throw it against the wall and say, everyone listen, ready? And I would hit it and it would go like, doom, 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 like that. As I turn that into a song. And everybody would come up with something different. One might have something that start with a beat, boom, 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 boom. Another one might have something with vocals. I stubbed my toe, whatever it is. But it could be anything that starts you off, anything you can use around you to start you off. Anything. It should be the way you feel, Could be a guitar riff, it could be a drum beat, it could be another song. It's like, I like the vibe of that song. Billy Joel would do that all the time. He hears fucking Ray Charles. You know, Georgia, Georgia. So what does he write? You know, New York State of Mind. You know, he hears fucking be my little baby with that white vibrato. Yeah. So what does he write? Say goodbye to Hollywood. Even with the same beat. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, inspiration from other songs. Seriously, yes. Yeah.
So I understood that you work on the arrangement of the song while you're producing it, or is it more like you have most of the arrangement in your head, and the production goes along to frame it?
Could be any of those things.
Yeah.
It sort of builds itself as it goes. You might have the entire song just hit you, boom, like a flash, like that.
Okay.
It's like, all right, I need to record this before I forget. You get the whole song done immediately. It just happens like that. Or it could be this battle for years.
Yes.
It's just like, I don't know where to go with this. I can't sleep at night.
Yes.
And yeah.
Very much.
Or someone else collaborating and helping, whether it's a producer or a bandmate or anyone.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. How does this process change when you're working with a band? Maybe with like 4 or 5, like a drummer, and a bassist and singer.
Well, you answer that because I'm a complete dictator. I work here and I tell them what I want, and Björn makes the drums in a day and a half, and Chris does the bass. And I said, no, it's okay, I'll edit it together. Just play a string a couple of times and I'll sort it out. And off you go. So I'm a nice guy, but I'm a complete dictator. In Free Kitchen, and they want me to be. They say, tell us when you want us, and what would you like? Because they want me to be the captain of the music, at least, you know. So I have this vision. I've been working with the song is nearly there. Could you just add the drums? The last thing. And then Björn wrote it down. It's like the Duracell rabbit, and it's done in a day and a half. It could be done in a day, and so on. So I don't like to work in a band format because I need time to walk naked with the penis alive and well in the woods and think. So this was a good core. This was a good idea. It started with this. Where do I go from here? This is how this song started. With an Instagram video where somebody would draw the clock. I thought, this is interesting. Can I make a clock in 1316? So that's how it started. Where do I go from here? And I thought it would be nice to do it in 60 BPM. But that's a dreadful tempo. But let's do it in actual time. And then, little by little, I wrote Manjunath, how do you say in Konopol in a good way, 12 o'clock plus 1 o'clock? And he would do that, and I thought, this is great, I'll learn that. And then I took he just sent me, I would do this. No, I took that and edited that one to 60 BPM and overdubbed it with my da-dim, da-da-dik-da-dum-dim. So, okay, that's a start. This is the general idea. And from there I go, what key do I want to do this in?
You pitch shift him as well?
No, he is completely natural. And that is good to have me, because he is a dim, dim. So it's only me singing well, and that was core. And where do you go from there? It's up to you. So I take it little by little, and okay, I have this. Oh, it's too slow. I need to go blast beat in triplets. So you do that, and you trust. And now this is too much. I need an explosion, and we just stop because it's life. Music is life. Life is music. That was deep, wasn't it?
Tell the story. That's what it is. You want to tell a story.
Yeah,
and it's got to have dynamics. It has to have all of that stuff.
Do you have any advice for mixing on headphones?
Yeah, I don't do that, but you probably do.
Just know what you're listening on.
Yeah.
Just know it. If it's something that you're very familiar with, and you know that when the low end of it starts to feel like it's really resonating and that it's the right amount, and this, or what the highs are shaped like, and and check it on something else and compare it to other things that you know sound good. As far as the songwriting and working together, collaborating with Sons of Ahoyo and Whom Gods Know. That's the other thing. I always come up with like degrading names for every band on Sons of Ahoyo. Well, I had a lot of names I won't say. But Whom Gods Destroy, quote unquote, like Whom Gods Annoy. With both bands, it would either be me or Derek. We would just send an MP3 of an idea of something. Derek would send me something on a piano with some working title, Bar Talk. And it'd be like, and then I would send him a response to it. Like I would take it and I would load it in, and then I would follow it up with some guitar like tuned down to, and just and send it back to him, and then he would add to that and send it back to me with straightening it out, and it would just build, and we would just keep building, and then at some point we'd be saying, all right, I should go back to this. Nah, I don't think so. Let's try it. Okay. Nah, it's not good. Let's do that. And over time, eventually at some point, you just settle on what it ends up being. But a song is never finished. A mix is never finished. You just got to pick a point where you just say, I'm done,
Exactly.
and stop working on it.
Exactly, that's it.
But you can keep, you can keep going forever. You can take a painting and keep saying, let's just, a week later.
And this
And
is
that
a
could go
tricky thing. This is super tricky. So,
Knowing when to let
okay,
it go.
I got it. Most of it is where I wanted it to be, and so on. And that is also getting better by the years. I think that you relax. Yeah, this is cool. Sure, I could spend another year tweaking this. Why? Who gives a shit? Nobody can tell the difference anyway.
Exactly. You get to a point where, like, day one of working on something, you make from, let's say, here's the start of your work to when people actually hear it. Like, you make this much progress. Then the next day you make this much, and then the next day you make this much, then you make this much.
Yeah.
And then this much, like, is the following year.
Yeah.
And no one can even hear the difference. You can't even hear the difference.
No.
It's like you're changing thing and then changing them back and not even realizing you made that change. Like, if I just take that a quarter of a dB up on that syllable, and
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
No.
Might get worse. Might even get worse.
Yeah, you can lose
you
the
start
song.
going
It's
in
going
the
to slip
wrong
away
direction.
from
Yeah,
you.
you get too close.
And you get tired of it. That's why it's, again, why I want result. I want to be happy all along the way. Usually I'm not. At the end of a production, I hate the record. I have to finish it. Then I go back to say, okay, I did it. I survived another album. But it's not necessarily super fun, the last 20%. This has to be finished.
No, it's
And
like
what do you
pushing
do when
it
you-
like a baby.
Yeah, really. Super fun. Yeah. Dog, or there are many questions, yeah?
Well, I just want to ask about tracking guitars because the whole jet movement unfolded in the last 10 years or last decade. So, being both of you, amazing at what you do, just how you hear the sound and for tracking, do you do parallel compression? Do you double track or double track? Is there a signature sound that you do? Just one track?
This is the
Yes.
Ulf guitar, this guitar, and here you can see the
This is a
EQ.
stereo recording.
No, mono. Mono is the key, and then you make it
do like a
stereo.
stereo imaging.
No, it's
Was
two
it like-
guitars, maximum. I'm
Okay,
super
so
duper old
you
school.
play on the left, you play on the
So
right.
this is the EQ. This is one guitar. This is now it's only one channel. So this is a tiny little EQ I do. Wrong channel. No. We can do this other. I didn't mean to play. I'll sit down. I can't stand up with the XD mouse.
But also every song is different. Depends on how you want it to sound, that particular song. You may want it to be doubled hard left, hard right, or you just want it to be one single guitar, and maybe create some stereo imaging just so it doesn't sound too plain.
Yeah.
Well, I should maybe unpack there, the punch in the face sound.
And you may not want them to even be the same amps on either side. Like you could take one guitar track and say, let me run them through two different amps, hard left, hard right. And then maybe I'll take this one and just give it like a 12 millisecond delay, and suddenly it feels like you've doubled something, and you're not losing those little human things that happen in it. It's just creating this wide stereo image that's just nicer to hear. And the thing is, when you're doing this shit, every time you do it, you learn something new and you get a little bit better at it. It's just like guitar and everything else. It's like the more you do it, the more better you get.
What do you do when you get stuck? When you don't get like further in a project that you're doing? Do you have any?
I don't think we get stuck by now. We just grind through it somehow.
Yeah, or you just take a break and think about something
Yeah.
else. Or you just force yourself to say, all right, well, let me find something that's going to push me forward.
Yeah.
Siis example, okay. I don't know where to go next. Everything I do just sounds like shit. Nothing is working. This is terrible. I quit music. All that stuff. And say, all right, I gotta finish this song. You might even just have to just steal and say, okay, well, this song is this tempo, reminds me of this. What did that song do? Okay. And then just go to some other song that's similar to it and say, what happened there? What did they do? All right, well, I need to do that. I'm just going to flip the chords around the other way. Just to get you through it. And then from there you might, all right, now I have something. All right, I broke through that barrier. I'm not stopping myself from moving forward anymore. And then say, you know what, let me just tweak that a little more. And then suddenly it starts becoming its own thing. And you're free and you're moving forward.
I do the same with guitar playing. If you know how it is, you pick up the guitar, you play the same shit, you know, your favorite licks, blah, blah, blah. That's the first thing you do. Play familiar things. I often pick up Bengan's guitar especially and just go silly and do and then all of a sudden there's a that's a nice. So, oh, this is a melody, great. And then I love just what chords can I put over here, and all of a sudden I open up doors. So, and sometimes when you have a melody in your head, you probably experience this as well. Be very careful before you pick up the guitar that you have mapped it out in your head, or you start doing eruption. It's gone. You know? So I say, what is this that I
That's
have?
when you grab your phone and say, idea number 373.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you forget you did that and you listen a month later.
Hey, what is this? What I gotta say about the helix, I am the same with the helix. I don't know what I'm doing. I create my own presets, everyone said the helix is great. Plugged it in, sounded like shit. I realized it's probably me. Because I realized it is good. I listened to you and I said, this is good. You use the helix, it sounds marvelous. Why does it sound like shit? I do. So I started, yes. That's an idea. So on. Somebody already did that. So I just tweak things that I never keep. Everybody has so much advice. I block myself out of advice. I don't want your advice, sorry. Because I have to that, and the IR, what's it called, the impulses, blah, blah, blah.
None of them are wrong. There's just, you can do a million different things.
Yes, I just put cabinet, because that's what I like, to have a cab, and an amp, and a little bit of EQ, lots of distortion, and that's it. And then the more stuff you put in there, unless you want some really ambient stuff, the less groovy sound. Groovy sounding
unless you're going for some weird ass sound.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
but like just to have like that nice
texture.
foundation of just like when you just plug your guitar into a good sounding amp, like you want to start with that. And make something that sounds like that.
And for me, playing 8-string guitar, I need solid low end. I need the goof goof. So that's not. It's goof goof. It's goof goof goof. And I just for 2 seconds here. This is the sound. It's exactly the same as this. I have the rack in the studio, but this is the sound. And this is the EQ. That's all I do. We can do no EQ. EQ. Okay?
Where does it start to grow?
So you see EQ. No EQ. Super little EQ. Okay? And this is just the sound.
Sometimes that tiny little bit makes
Exactly.
the difference.
Yeah, and then I do this 9-string below. You don't hear this, but you feel it, and it works really well with the easy bass. So these together. Button I push, the delay one, and the EQ for this one is not really radical either. It's slightly more together.
It has a single bullet character.
Yeah. So no EQ, EQ, and that's it. So don't go EQ EQ bananas. Make good sound before recording and then tweak it a little bit and open it up. Okay?
And buy an 9-string guitar.
Of course, that's crucial. Let me see what this is, just 2 seconds. Yeah. So these together, you know, there's some delay, I guess. But this together with this one makes it whole in a way. It's not all guitar. It's but this one's the best.
We live in an era where we can have shitloads of layers,
Yeah.
even if they're very subtle, they're adding
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
So don't be shy about adding layers. Like sometimes you want things to be very raw and naked and just very intimate and just simple. But when you're trying to create interesting sounds, something like this, layer the fuck out of it. Just put all kinds of stuff in there, mix it together.
And also take things out. You know, if you look at this, it goes in and out and stuff here and there and comes and pans and whatever. For instance, when the song kicks in, I have this one, the super lovely fifth arpeggio. That
You don't want everything in always.
Yeah. So this one is here, and this one has it's resting after the melody is here. Okay, so then I leave the ambient, and then I add another sequenced. So these guys together create just a foundation of 8 notes, cluck, 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 or 16 notes because we're 60 dBm. So I just want to see how it works together. So this is just. And it's there. You don't even think about it. You know, it's. Kind of beefy. There are many things going on, and after this, for instance, you need air. You know. So the next thing, it's super. You know, it's basically tapping. This goes, for instance. You know, it's constant. But then I have keyboard overdubbing that, and I also have a lot of these. And you probably have to just 1 or 2 notes. You don't really think about it, but it's doing all the difference in the world. And for me, if we call this the verse, the tapping, I would never go straight to the second verse. I need something in between, and then I came up with this shit thing, but no bass. I wanted it light and fluffy, and then you bring in the very low bass. You know? So it's just 2 guitars, very low, more extras, stuff like that. Hey, harmonic. Oh, he's the guy who's doing the harmonics. All kinds of things. And then it's okay to go back. And then I say, so that's what you do, to dress it up as it's too much, back off. More intense.
You develop a writing style based on those instincts that you have of where you think it should go next.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Go on. Yeah, so many questions. Yeah. Niels, maybe you've been making a sign for a long time.
I realize the benefit of having a computer not online.
Yes.
Also for the updates that are not coming in, and you have a secure system, but also for protection of your project that you are making.
Yes.
But how does the end project go into production? I mean, you have to.
This is the production. I mix. This is it. This is the mix. This is the mix. I mix in Paris. I sit here with my Control 16, and I have many Control 16s, and I mix it here. And then, yeah, that's it. But with Free Kitchen, and the thing is, the better you get, I I mean, you've been mixing your own stuff for forever, and we obviously get better. I mix my own stuff. With Free Kitchen, I was like a sidekick and go to a real studio. And the end result is like, yeah, it's almost as good as my own stuff. Why didn't I mix it? Because I've been working so long with the project, it could be good. I did it with some of you were here last year, Jacob Herman, for instance. But I listen to it now, so I realize, could have done that, saved thousands of euros on my own, but still.
And
it's
also
nice.
the way you mix things has a sonic style to it that's part of the sound of the band.
Yeah, and I mix along the way. When I record, I mix. When I record, I produce. When I record, I arrange.
You're
I
building
compose.
toward the final
Yes.
result
Yeah,
as
yeah.
you go.
I
You don't
made.
wait until everything is recorded.
Yeah.
Say, oh, let me start mixing now. No, it's making it sound how you want it to. Put it recorded.
Yeah, exactly. And I can clean the studio just listening to where am I at the end of the day. Just listen to it. So this is good. This is good. And stop. I go stop. This is wrong. It was boomy sound. What is this? Or I need boomy sound. And then I do that. So, but just quickly some chug. So 9 string again. Then you wobbly and then the 8 string. The 9 string is much lower, but it serves the purpose. And of course you edit all the away, you can see the waveform, you know, take away but the helix is so quiet you don't really need it unless you're sloppy. You know. Yeah,
No, like we could also say, oh, look how old this girl is using Windows XP and this and that. But think about it.
music
like,
good.
Yeah, does it sound good?
Yeah.
And also, like this stuff is super advanced compared to the way the majority of albums in the history of mankind have been made.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a whole lot of amazing shit done on just a little 8-track,
Yeah.
analog, no editing, none of this.
Yeah.
You know, this would be like their wildest dreams to have this right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
So talking about producing as you write and writing as you produce, do you when you are dialing that sound you were talking about, like plugging into a great sounding amp and as a great foundation, does that foundation change between songs, and would your approach be the same for a song that you're going to mix, so, or for like?
Oh, yes. Oh, no, it's all completely open. It's whatever you want it to sound like. There's no set thing that could be applied all the way to everything. Like you're not going to use the same amp for every song, the same sound, everything. Like one might need to be cleaned up a little bit. One you want to be just, you know, massive. Another one you may want to double and do 10 walls of guitars, and another one you just want it to sound like one tiny little guitar. Like it's all different. It's what you want to hear, and it doesn't have to be the same exact thing every time, and the rules don't apply in every scenario the same way. It's open. Yeah.
Does this understand UAD, this system?
What is
Universal Audio plugins.
Not at all.
Okay.
I can tell you, these are the
And
plugins.
other question is that don't you do any EQ sweeping?
I do what?
EQ sweeping, so you don't cut off like any frequencies.
None at all. Very little
Oh, the old
automation.
NDA shit.
Yeah, this is like Steinberg shit, I think. This was great, the
This is
NDA
early
combo.
days.
Yeah, I did use these to distort the hell out of it. Yeah. And then Paris has the integrated, you know, effects that you see. But it's all super simple. And the reason I go back to this, I have every option known to man. It was the same when I recorded the Fate album, or the first Free Kitchen album. I had access to every amp known to man. And I opted for my Sharp transistor radio and my Marshall Governor pedal. Sharp transistor, push the tape down, pause, record, and put a nice microphone in front of it. And I said, are you insane? You have this wall of the most expensive. Yeah, but I like this. And the producer goes, okay. And people say great sound or shit sound, but it was my sound. And that's what I still do. I don't care. I want to make music. That's all I want. And now it's so easy for me to make it sound better than I am with the stuff I have. You know?
It's just presenting a best, clearest picture of
Yes, 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 yes. And I like it too. You know, I open a plug-in. I have zillions of options and sounds and tweaks you can do. And I just said, no, it doesn't work. Hopeless. Who would ever use this? This is interesting. And then I just spend an hour going, it's the same with primality and stuff like that. There are a million things happening in the background. That I'll see if I can find it. You know. So, yeah, Mikael.
Do you ever record the DI track when you always just the tone?
Never. Are you this? What was it called? You do.
Yeah, I'll record the guitar just direct in and then put a Helix plugin on it. Unless I'm doing something with a pedal with the Helix where I want all those changes happening, then I'll just.
I think that we do what we do extremely different. Actually, and I think it's great. What I do is kind of primitive in many ways, Windows XP, whatever, and so. But then you know how it works to the big mixing console and everything.
But I do everything. I don't even use a mixer. I do
Okay.
everything in the box.
Oh, you do that?
Yeah.
But you used to, didn't you? Tweak or
Yeah, way back.
but you know how it works. If I see a mixing console, I go, what is this? You know, I know this, and I know, you know, Pro Tools, and you route things, and you do this, you know, and so on, and automation, and it's pretty much the same. But I would never, again, what's the symposium, this seminar weekend, EQ. So
EQ
I would be thrown out very quickly. I just opened the Kintsugi song, which has a completely different setup. And I just went bashing punk drums, and I used this, again, Eddie Kramer kind of thing, because I wanted something completely different. But I blend things. We blend things. We are not like Puritans. Whatever works. It's like, okay, so you have this Bonham sound, has to be 70s kind of music. Not at all. It's Japanese pop. Because I wanted something noisy. So this is all the drums only, and I must mute everything else. Sorry. Great sounding distorted hi-hat. I love it. Love this hi-hat very much. I need more. I'm not cool enough to do so I added some. I have a million loops and stuff. So and it really helps for making the Japanese crazy. And that is the 808 again. Just putting accents. You see here. This. Oh, that's actually. So, and for me, this works. Sounds like a great rhythm.
Sounds good.
This one has a lot of low end. I don't know if you notice the sound when we reach this. So then the loop kicks in as soon as we go. Then I played regular bass guitar and I didn't like it. It was not what I wanted. So I got behind the keyboard and did the mega dance song, which was much more to my liking. And took away all the dynamics, everything maxed out, exactly as long, everything. Nothing in between. And I like it. I just turned everything to the maximum. So I love it. Yeah. This is the best night of my life. So yeah, really cool. Yeah.
What do you do about like low-end clashes? You have like 8-string guitar and 1-star bass and 808 and kick there with a hip-hop kick.
I don't worry about them. And I like them a lot.
You just let them all just.
Yeah.
There's a big bowl of low end.
Yeah. This, let me see, where is this?
Everything on full.
Nine-string guitar. And, so just, can I sit down? It's okay? I've
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, fine. Well, I'll sit down.
When you have an idea and you sit in front of your system, do you start with some kind of a template to speed up the process, or you don't want to do that?
Do what?
When you have an idea and you want to work on it, do you start behind some kind of your template in your DAW?
No,
Or
start
you do everything from scratch, every
Yeah,
single time?
everything from scratch. And I had a question that I didn't understand from Jacob Herman, the guy who is, he said, that, do you quantize your guitars? I said, what do you mean? What is that? Oh, everybody does that. I edit guitars for every band, all the prog bands, and so what do you mean? Do you move the guitar? Are you insane? Don't
They
you
take
play
the
guitar?
DI track and they take the peaks of it, in just the same way they would with drums. They
Really?
just take all
Yes.
the feel out of it,
I
and all
wa-
the humanity, and
I wasn't aware this
turn
was
it into
possible.
a fucking robot
He's
radio.
already a quantized
Yeah.
machine.
You can actually quantize guitar. Great. Just kidding. No, it's
And
true.
vocals and aligning, backing doubles to that one, and everything. Yeah, you can just completely robotize everything human
Audio
that is
quantized.
laid down.
And that's
Audio.
how you cookie cutter sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I move things with the mouse if I am completely shitty, but never rhythm guitar. I play rhythm guitar. I've never moved a single rhythm guitar thing in my entire life. I play guitar. We play music. You know, chaka chaka. 16 tones. Chaka chaka.
You're telling
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Oh, now going back to the bass, I want to talk about one thing about low end.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, it depends on what everything sounds like. But what I might do is, I will take the guitars, even if they're big and boomy, I will roll off a lot of low end and just say, okay, I'm cutting. All the low end is going to start at 100 or 120 hertz or something like that, leaving all this empty space over there. And then I'll take the bass guitar and maybe I'll use that multi-band compressor and I'll grab the super lows, squash the fuck out of it and bring it up to a certain point and just have like this consistent like 60 hertz constant booming low end that whenever there's bass, everything is just shaking. And then I will take the kick drum and I'll make that peak at 90 hertz or something like that where it just pops through. And there's definitely a different flavor to spots in the low end, and if you give each thing its own place, it can keep it, like it can make everything very clear in the low end while still keeping a fuckload of low end. Yes.
What do you use on your master channel?
Oh, that depends. It could be different depending on, it could be anything from taking just a Waves L3 multi-maximizer and just say, all right, let me just drop it down -4 and just let it do its thing. Sounds good enough, done. Or it could be 10 different things all layered and just using tiny bits of each. And each one is making a subtle difference. In the end, it's making a big difference. And that's probably a better way to go. You don't want one plugin to be doing too much because you start really hearing what it's doing and you don't want that. You want them all to be invisible where in the end it's just like, this sounds amazing.
You don't
And
like
it's just-
gluing this together. Yeah.
Yeah, like we tend to overuse compression. Like,
Yeah.
how much should you compress? Barely at all. And then take another one that's doing it barely at all, and a different one that's doing it barely at all. And each one is going to do it in a different way where in the end, you have this thing that's just boom, it's in your face and it never sounds like it's sucking away or any of that shit. Yeah.
And
Here
then
comes the pagan again. I've never compressed a guitar ever. I don't know how to do it.
You don't need to. Yeah, the guitar itself has
Yeah,
natural
of course.
saturation.
Yeah.
Saturation is sometimes the answer, not compression.
Yeah.
So not even parallel compression.
Oh, you
Well,
could,
it's-
depending.
I don't need
You
it.
know. It's compression. Yeah, well, basically just, you know, mix it all, the effect of it. And just put in, yeah, I've done that. You could do that in the Helix. You take a certain compressor, one of them, and there's a mix knob. Like you can have a ton of compression on it, but you just take the mix of it and you have that ton of compression only like 30% Just whatever sounds good.
I'm a bit afraid of compression when it comes to distorted guitar because I need this. So I don't want it to be, oh, something happened, oh, it kind of ducked.
The only time you could use compression is not after the fact when you have your sound, because then you don't need it because it's already squared off and it's like this. You know, whether you're playing loud or soft, when you have a shitload of distortion on your guitar, it's just the wave is like this, and a compressor it's really not doing anything.
It's keeping it in place.
Yeah. The guitar going in before it hits your amp, if you put compression on that can make a big difference, especially for leads. If you're going to be going from picking really hard to doing tapping where there's not going to be as much feeding into the amp. Go play through an amp where you're almost fighting it, where it's like, all right, I'm really digging in and it sounds great, but then if I tap, suddenly I'm just losing everything. And if you put a compressor before the amp, it'll keep everything. When you're playing soft, it lifts it up. When you're playing hard, it brings it down, so that you have same level or a more consistent level going in, and then you adjust that to how much drive you want it to have and everything, and it'll all be good throughout. So compression could be good in that sense, but also you should know the parameters and what they do, so that you don't set it in a shitty way. Yes?
To referring to this and also other stuff you said earlier that you kind of learn on the job, do you ever practice production?
Every time I'm doing something, it's practice.
Exactly, but not specifically so that you just like, okay, I'll spend 2 hours just tweaking this compressor to find out stuff, and then I'll use it on whatever.
It happens as I'm working on a mix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be, all right, let me see if I do this, let me try this, let me try that, and you learn just by doing.
Yeah.
That's the best way. So, compression. Just real quick thing about it. If you want things to sound like old 70s albums, long release time. If you want things to be really in your face and just constantly just being put right there, super short release, as short as you can get it. You know, a good 50 milliseconds, something like that is good. And it's just constantly, you know, every 50 milliseconds, it's remeasuring the sound and bringing it forward instead of doing it every 1 second where a hard hit happens and everything for the rest of that second is pulled back from that hard hit. And that's what makes things sound like they're like sucking away from you. So very short release time is what's going to keep things right in your face. The attack is, you could say it's how long before the compressor kicks in. Is letting some of the sound through before it ducks it down and does anything to it. So that's how you would keep a lot of your punch, because it's not squashing your immediate boom of it. It's letting that punch happen and then taking everything after it and adjusting that to, so those are the two main attack release things. And then of course, you know, ratio is simply whatever your threshold is, whatever it's compressing, is it cutting it in half, 2-to-1 ratio? Is it cutting it to be a tenth of what it was, 10-to-1 ratio? Is it a fifth of what it was, 5-to-1 ratio? So 2-to-1 ratio will sound more natural. 10-to-1 is going to sound very pulled away. You're going to really notice what it's doing, which you kind of don't want so much usually.
Do you release time and attack? Do you also see it in relation to the BPMs of the song? So
You could, absolutely. Like when you hear all these kind of things, especially in EDM and stuff like that. The sucking sound is where the kick, and also when you hear like a lot of mastering that's been done where everything is so loud that every time the kick hits you hear the cymbals disappear. That's because they have some kind of compression across the board where the kick drum is affecting the high end as well. And instead of just taking the low end of the kick drum and leveling that out, it's taking the entire mix and pulling it back every time the kick hits. You probably don't want that unless you're doing it for effect. For, you know, you want things to like be pulsing. Yeah, like a lot of EDM music, they have that pulsing sound. That's compression of one thing that's affecting everything and pulling it back every time that hits. You probably don't want that in our kind of music.
Or as an effect of go something.
Yeah, it can be done for effect, but yeah.
And then it comes to mastering, when you did a great mix and everything, and the mastering can ruin everything. Do you master your own things?
Oh yeah.
You do? I have my right hand Torben, and I trust him and he knows what I want, but it's sometimes it may be really heartbreaking in many ways and so on. And for me it's like, you know, yeah, it's a nice sounding snare and everything, and then you, okay, so it should be nice and loud but not too loud, and then the snare is gone, regardless of how it is in the, you know, the peaks are gone, everything is like, yeah, we need this big fat sausage, and all these, so I learned to adjust. I know what to do now, but sometimes I'm like, oh, fucking hell, where's the, you know, it's just maxed out.
Two things you can do.
Yes.
If that happens, you have a great sounding mix once it's mastered and squashed to the normal levels that we're expected to have. The loudness war, which is kind of gone now, but we still do it anyway. If you're losing,
CD mastering.
if we're losing everything, the dynamics, everything cutting through, and it's really killing the crack of the snare and all of that. Option one, remix and send it to your friend and say, okay, we're losing the snare, so I'm going to make the snare crack even more in this mix. Now just do that same mastering to this mix and that might fix it. Or your mastering guy isn't doing the right thing. What he's got to do is, as he's adding the layers to develop that sound to get it to that, huge place, if he starts losing that, he's got to put something in there that's going to grab the transients and make them cut through, and he's got to listen and say, all right, is it going to be low shit or high shit? Like, how am I going to balance this out? And make sure that as he's putting it, creating this airplane engine of noisy wall of stuff to your music, that it doesn't just become like
all
that.
your hard work. Sausage.
And it can be done. So he's just got to, when he's mastering, somewhere in the chain of everything that he's using, put in something that is going to keep bringing back all those punches of everything. Yeah,
You
that's
want
why.
it to be your mix, only better.
Yeah.
That's what you want. So, oh man, I often get, oh shit, mastering time.
Such nightmares with mastering that I just started, like years ago, I just started doing it. And I bought like fuckloads of like way overpriced analog gear and all this stuff, and just went crazy with it, and
now you know what to do.
Yeah.
Yes. Good.
Yeah.
Because
So
it's a heartbreaking thing as well. You work really hard.
No, I love doing mastering.
Yeah, but now it's fun. Yeah, but it used to, I had, back in the 90s, early 2000s, it was just,
And then if they fuck it up, it's like, well, a redo will be $3,000. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but you fucked it up.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I had something, I'll tell you some stories.
I think we both got a lot.
Yeah. I have a few more questions, William.
Yeah, so I'm curious. I want to do a lot more things than just play guitar,
Yes.
but it is really hard figuring out how to prioritize things and how really to spend my time. So when you started doing more than just guitar, when you started like recording and producing and mixing and singing all that stuff, do you sort of focus on one thing at a time and spend like a year like, okay, I'm just going to focus on recording, or do you sort of doing like, okay, I'm going to do a little bit of recording, a little bit of singing, a little bit of this other instrument sort of...
Everything at once.
Yes, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Just think of it like a tree that you're putting more branches on. You don't want to just take care of one branch and let the others wither. Develop everything, put a little bit of time, even if it's just 10 damn minutes, that's okay. Something into everything. Make a list of what you want to do, see how much of it overlaps so that you can kill two birds when you're doing one thing. It's like, I want to work on singing and songwriting. Okay, those two can go together. And start just making a plan, and you'll find that everything that you want to do, they all bleed into each other.
Yes.
When you're working on the songwriting, you're recording yourself, suddenly you're getting better at recording, as you're getting better at songwriting and singing.
Listening to yourself as well. It's sometimes you think you're hot shit, and you record yourself not so hot shit. You gotta do it again, not level up times 1,000, and then maybe,
And it takes years of
Yes.
you never stop improving as long as you just keep doing it. Every time you do it, you get a little bit better.
Yeah.
And you listen back to the things that you thought were great, and at the time they were for where
Yes.
you were at.
Yes.
But now you've surpassed that.
Exactly.
And it's great when that happens. There's nothing better when you listen back to something and you say, oh, that's awful, I could have done so much better. That means you got better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to ask for like recording, when you're recording DI signal into like digital interfaces, like a lot of us I presume do, especially I know that I do. Like what is the, I know peaking of course is off limits, never peak, never go into red and that kind of stuff when recording DI signal, but how much of headroom do we need to leave? Like I heard fairy tales, -6, -12, minus whatever, so what is good?
Depending on your noise floor, how much you have in it. If you're going in with a low signal and you have all that noise, once you put that into an amp, you're going to hear a lot of going on. So the hottest, cleanest signal you can get is the best way to go.
I record loud. So I like when it's red. Because Paris is one of the few systems that is like an analog tape recorder. If you use Pro Tools, you reach a certain degree, it will start.
Pro Tools fucking sucks.
Yes, yeah.
It sounds like shit.
Yeah.
When
you reach it, but Paris just sounds like, hey man, bring it on, more on the tape.
And that's the old stuff, like the 2001. That's when they first went from 16 to 24-bit.
Yes.
They had this thing, tape saturated, tape emulation, and it sounded better than anything since. Where they just figured out some kind of way to take anything that went over and just turn it into a random noise pattern that sounded like they took those 8 bits of shit and just made it sound like squashed tape. And
this is great. That it really works. It's like a visual tape recorder that sounds really good. Because I compare it, I have other stuff, and also I have wonderful studio speakers, super expensive. I should buy them. I'll buy them, and then I don't like them. I go back to my, believe it or not, broken living room JVC speakers and I know the left channel, I blew the high end. I have all the great speakers, but I never use them. I check them all. It sounds like shit, so I'll go back to those. And then I took a friend's like Ghetto Blaster, took away his speakers and put for the high end and connected those as well. And I know that if it sounds good on them, it sounds good in the car, it sounds good on Deezer or Spotify or YouTube. Well, I mean, they will lower your stuff by 14 dB or something like that. But still, I know it's going to sound good. It's going to sound good. Yeah, I walk around and I listen to certain places. Oh, good God, this is a lot of low end. I think it's going to be okay.
I don't use studio speakers. No. Nobody listens to music on studio speakers. Nobody, except for geeks in a fucking studio. And the rest of the world is listening on something else. Listen to it on what people listen to it on and see how it sounds. For 22 years I've been using the same thing. These towers I got for $150, these JBLs. And they're just, just home stereo shit.
Exactly.
That's what people would listen on. And I know how they compare, and I know what they sound like. I know how much low end is really low end compared to anything else, and high end. And that's worked for me for.
So on your phone speaker, right?
Sorry?
On your phone speaker.
I do as well. I do. I run it through the phone because that could be the same as a broken mono Vietnamese tape recorder. You get a good sense of the bass. If you hear the snare and nothing is faced out, and do you hear the guitars on your phone, or is it somewhere? I do.
Make out bass.
Yes, that'd be perfect if you hear the bass.
Not that it's low end, but can you actually like hear notes in there? Then you know that there's like good, clear upper notes giving you something.
My son is like, they want to do some cooking, and he just throws out his phone and Dr. Dre or whatever, and that's his reference. I said, could you please at least take this Bluetooth speaker and run it through that one, so we have, why? There are billions of people listening through their phone.
I had a question. With that, sorry. With that amount of different layers, do you organize groups, buses?
Not really. I like stereo when it comes to keyboards, usually, because there's stuff going on that I tweak in other software. And so on. With guitars it's always mono, and I use the Helix, and then I have this interface in between. I have this, it's about $50. Art. This is a tooth, and I can control it, and I can push it harder than the Helix, harder than your husband.
Well, you're talking about like in the the
Yeah,
DAW. In
in
the
the
software, do you bus organize
Yeah,
it?
no. Well,
bus-
this is the tape machine.
Yeah, you
So-
just do it all.
Yeah,
just
super
here's the-
simple.
I do buses.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what
that's
do
what I'm saying.
you master bus it?
Well, what I'll do is I'll do a vocal bus, I'll do a keyboard bus, I'll do a guitar bus, I'll do a bass bus if there's multiple, DI and amp and this and that. Drum buses, sometimes I've done as much as, if it's like 24 tracks of drums and all these mics everywhere, it'll be like, okay, close mics on drums, and then overheads and hi-hats and all the shimmery stuff on a bus, and then another one of just all the room mics and all of that. It's good to have when you have a keyboardist that gives you 60 tracks of keyboards.
Oh, God.
And like everything you can imagine, every keyboard ever made in the song. So for that, you have them all go into a bus, and it's like, oh wait, the keyboards need to be louder. You just move the bus.
Yeah.
So it's good for things like
Yeah.
that.
I don't. I don't have to because I don't work like that. If I would, then I would have to have a compatible system. Let's open the same project, but I don't. I'm the stupid lone wolf Viking idiot. So I work like this.
And then
What
there's
is
certain
what is the device you showed?
It's just a
Preamp.
cheap
Like
preamp.
It's a little
So Helix, guitar goes into Helix, out of Helix, just a
Preamp, and then
preamp, and then two to this one. That is talking to this. So it's super easy, and it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, this will be a mixing console, script. So,
you
but-
get more
and,
signal.
and I buy expensive stuff, and then I send it to Justus. I bought like a great voice channel thing, for instance. I thought it's time to level up. What do? I use it for like a few songs, and then I go back to these. I plug my vocals into this one, and it's not even called compression, it's called the leveler, and it's the same box that goes. It has two knobs. How much compression you want and how much output you want. So I can do all the other stuff in my sophisticated, in Reason and Pro Tools if I have to. But when I work, I want to sing. So this is the sound I want, and then I'll sing and focus. Because the singing takes long enough as it is. So does the guitar track. So I just want solid things. Something.
No.
Oh, sorry. No.
I'm going to say one thing real quick.
Yes.
Regarding those buses, you can always put effects on them and things like that, where suddenly like the drums sound like they're like, this dirty sound in a hallway down there, and then it comes back to normal. So buses are good for things like that, where you just punch that in, punch it out, where it's grabbing 24 tracks of stuff and affecting them all like that. So buses are very good to just have an overall control of whatever you're sending to them.
And since Paris doesn't really have any plugins, all these things, I make a decision in other software and bounce out as a stereo file, effects and stuff like that. So I make constant decisions, and therefore I move forward quite quickly. I have to make up my mind.
Committed decisions
Yes,
you make, and then you take those and you just put them in there.
Exactly. That's really how it is. So yeah, Marcus.
I was wondering, what's your opinion on mixing with plugins, like Ozone as a helper, not as a final stuff, but
so going in with it, printing with it. You mean like?
Yeah, like helping the plugin give you first direction of the mix or something.
Do you mean like vocal into a plugin being recorded,
Like
so that you're
also-
recording the effects of that plugin permanently? Or do you mean just using it
Like for
temporarily?
mixing, like a spatial division, or just like Ozone has
effects.
Yeah, like doing the mix with the plugin. Like for instance, you can have a reference mix. You upload a track, and then it helps you mix the whole thing. And I was wondering, what's your opinion on it?
Do you mean, okay, I got you. Like one of those plugins that you stick it on the master bus, and it just makes everything sound nice. It has EQ, and it has compression, it has this, and it has that, and it has a preset on it that you put it on. It's like, rock this, rock 1, rock 2, rock 3, dance music, and different
Car
settings.
stereo.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Just what's your opinion in general?
If it sounds good, yeah. It doesn't hurt. Yeah, if it sounds good and you like the way it sounds and it's getting what you want, use it.
Sampo first.
Yeah, you
Sampo first.
I just want to know, do you work super drummer inside the Pro Tools, or do you use the...
Me?
Yeah.
I work it's standalone. It's all in the head. Because you could do so many things in Super. I'm not a plug-in fan. I mean, I use plugins, but for Paris, that's again, it's a tape recorder. Nothing works. It has delay, reverb, compression inside. That is Paris. All the plugins are shit stuff. I never use them otherwise for crashing things. So I work in Superior Drummer, and I think, oh, and I may bounce it. I bounce the kick, I bounce the snare, and so blah blah blah. The snare is lame. I go back to Superior Drummer and put some tape simulator on it with compression, or take the compression out, bounce it again, so works better. And then it's just volume.
Committed decision.
Yeah, all the time. Because it's this computer is it's a network thing. It still hasn't been on the internet, but I have networks, so I just, you know, okay, throw it over to that computer and go back with the chair. But I'm not lazy, but I make decision. I trust the gut feeling. So very rarely do I sort of, how should I say, export it twice. You know, if I, for instance, I just thought I'd show you some the kintsugi other sounds. So this is reason. You probably don't hear that, and then you have, I think the melody is done with this. I thought it was a great sound, and it works perfectly well with distorted. And of course we need strings, you know, just super simple, but they give air. So yeah, this, and I play keyboards like do do do, be dee do, beam bam boom bam. So you don't do. I physically do because it's quicker, and then I fix it up. It's like a typewriter. Perfect. See, sharp. Where's the sequence? Missed it again. So then I'm off. Hell, you know. So and then you have what's this? Yeah, like low end. So all this, and it works because it's it sounds stupid. It really sounds like a bad MIDI file, but it works. Then you have this one again.
Sounds like some series on Netflix.
Yeah. Cobra Kid. But the guitars alone sound like this. Sound. But then I overdubbed this with more shit.
Did you take the backs on and off? Did you take the backs on and off?
Yeah, exactly. It's a very slippery sound, but it's behind the guitars, and then piano, and just playing really. And later some cheap.